here on the Bake Along 2.0. Now, let me just wait for a couple of you to join. I'm live both on Facebook and the Instagram. I also did the trial run yesterday, right? Like I said, on the Fondbites Bake Along Facebook group on Facebook, and on Instagram, it's on the Fondbites Instagram page. So now I'm looking at the camera and talking to you guys. But to look at the comments, I will have to look at the little away. So it will look like I'm looking at somewhere else, but I'm just reading the comments to know if you're talking to me, and then I'll be looking at the camera to answer back. So it'll be a little bit of, going away from the camera and then coming back and talking to you. Okay. So let me just um, check. I'm just looking at somewhere else, but yeah, I'm looking at the comments like I said. Let me see if a few of you join on the Instagram. Just want to check if it is good on the Instagram and if the view is good on Instagram. Okay, a few of you have joined on Instagram as well. Okay. I also wanted to check if this time is okay, because it's on a Friday on 4:30. I thought to initially start with, um, I'll just start on the day that the team is prepared and all that. After which I thought I'll just check with you guys if it is an ideal time for you on a Friday evening to come out, catch me live as I start with recipe. Hi Kamali, I'm looking at the comments there and I'm just waving you hi. Hope I'm audible. If you guys could just let me know if I'm audible. Also, then I think we are good to go. Like as you keep coming, you can check with me your queries. I'll just try my best to answer. Yeah, volume is good. You can hear me. Okay. So thank you so much, and I'm really very grateful to the entire Fun Bites Bake Along family, with whom I think I've just traveled about 2 years continuously, and out with this new studio space. I'm here to do the studio tour in a couple of days' time. You want me to be louder? Okay, sure. So in a couple of days time, say maybe Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to do a studio tour again live, so you guys should join me to look at the studio space. But right now I'm here to kickstart the first week of Bake Along. Thank you so much. But yes, those who are joining in now, if you are finding me looking at somewhere and talking, you should know I am looking at another device to read through the comments to know if things are going good. And then I'm going to look at the camera and then talk to you. Okay, so keep watching. Once I'm done with the whole step, then again I will look at you and then talk to you. You can still keep asking your questions. If that's been highlighted, then I am going to also answer as I go. So the first bake along on the 2.0 is going to be eggless, because I did try that using eggs, but then later on I didn't want to leave out the eggless bakers out because of a lot of eggless queries coming out. So this is a very simple recipe. Brownie, I'm sure any baker would have tried at least a brownie once minimum. But then I started with brownie because I wanted the entire family to come back together and then start baking with me. And I wanted to keep it eggless. It's made with Flaxmeal and it is really yummy. I've tried like 3-4 times to perfect this before I get it down onto your plate. So you could try it and then have it without any hassle. You're going to love this brownie. So can we kickstart making the recipe? Keep asking your doubts as you go. Okay. So let's get into the recipe to start making the eggless brownie bites. Okay. So as I said, it's an eggless recipe. We have the flax meal, that's the egg replacer. But the recipe I've just posted, the recipe card has been posted both on Instagram and the Fondbites Bake Along group. And you could just refer that for the quantity of the ingredients. What I'm going to refer now is the name of the ingredients. For the quantity, you could go and refer the recipe card. So to begin with, we always start with preheating the oven to about 180 degrees Celsius and let the oven running until the brownies go into the oven, right? And the second step is to line and prepare your baking tin. So as I'm calling it brownie bites, I just wanted to be in bite size, and I'm going to use mini muffin pan for that. And I did not want to use a liner because the muffins or the brownies that are coming out of this is quite soft, and the liners sticking to that is not going to give out a good brownie into the hand that you can just pick up. So what I'm going to do is line the muffin pan. So I just also wanted to keep the recipe very small because we do not end up baking every week and end up baking a lot, and then you don't have too many people to give it out to, and obviously there is a lot of wastage, and then we eat a lot of sugar. So I'm trying to keep the recipe really very small. So this is going to give me just 10 mini bites, right? So to begin with, if you are going to use this the exact same way that I'm going to do, which will be the mini brownie bites, then you have to line the pan. I'm brushing it with pan release. So this pan release is made using equal portions of butter, oil, and shortening. But if you do not prefer to use shortening, then you could use butter. So butter, oil, and flour. Beat it to get a homogeneous mixture, and then store it in a airtight jar and keep it in the fridge. And you could allow it to thaw for a few minutes until it just gets soft, after which you can use, like this was just kept outside, like say maybe before 30 minutes now. I had made it yesterday while I was preparing, so it's now in the right consistency. You just need a very thin layer. Why we are doing pan release to brush? Because you don't want to butter and flour. You could do that like you do to your cake pans when you are baking the actual cake, and not the mini sized ones. But then you can see the white flour sticking to the sides of the cake as you remove. But we just want the brownies sides to be, the brownies color itself. So we better want the sides to be clean. So I am just going to finish that, which is the pan release is being brushed and the pan is ready. Now I'm going to put this pan aside as I move on to the next step. So the next step for me is to mix the flax meal and water. This is the egg replacer, right? And so this is going to do the magic and do what eggs will do to a recipe using eggs. But then ideally it is good that we do this replacement to a recipe which has one egg. Now this is just even half of that, so you could follow the recipe card. Now this is the flax meal, right? And then that's water. I'm going to add water into the flax meal. You could use a spoon. I'm just going to use a whisk. Just mix it up. I'm going to let this soak for a bit, and I'm going to allow it to volume up for some time. So setting this aside, I will need it in a while, but then for now it goes aside. Then the next thing I will do is to get the dry ingredients mixed up together. That's flour and that's almond meal. I'm just going to add the almond meal into the flour. And mix that up a bit. Okay, so getting the dry ingredients for now together. And this also I'm going to set it aside as I'm going to need this when I'm going to finish up with the batter. But why are we preparing all this? Because after you have started making the batter, you don't want to leave the batter lying there for some time, after which going and preparing the pan and then mixing the dry flours together. It is not good to keep the batter waiting. So all these preparations are good to do as you are doing. So you are just ready to go in a flow to put the batter into the pan and put it in the oven. So this step is also done. I am going to set that one aside. And then for the next step, I just need a saucepan and then my induction. stove. Let me check if it is switched on. Yes. So I'm going to switch this on, put my saucepan, and then add butter chopped into smaller pieces. Soften room temperature is better. You don't want to put like really very firm and cold butter. It's going to take some time to melt. Adding the butter and the chocolate together. I'm just checking if the flame is low. Keep mixing. I could even just reduce the flame because you don't want the chocolate and butter together to boil. You don't want the bubbles to come. You don't want to overheat. And that's the reason you have to chop the butter into smaller pieces. So bigger chunks are going to take time. Okay, and then if you see little bits of butter, doesn't matter, it's going to melt by its own with the heat that we've just put in to melt the chocolate. So use the spatula and then mix it up. So now the butter was solid when I was just removing it from the fire, right? The induction stove from the heat, but now it's all melted. Now that's the chocolate sauce, and I'm going to set this aside to cool down a little bit until it will be used just in a while. Now I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to also take the induction stove aside because that work is done. Okay, and then now we need a beater. Now I have this KitchenAid, which is a stand mixer, right? Now if you do not have a stand mixer, that's fine. You can use your hand beater and a bowl, and you can just mix it up with your hand. It is going to work perfectly fine, so not to worry. So with the stand mixer, I've attached the paddle attachment here. You need that, and this is a glass bowl, so I need the silicone blade attached to the paddle attachment. If you do not have this, it is definitely okay. I just wanted in glass for it to scrape to show in the camera what's happening inside. When you're doing it for your home, you don't need that. In that case, we are going to use the spatula to scrape down the sides. Now, let me just move this aside, and I just wanted to show how this Flaxmeal is looking now. You can see it's just become quite nice and wobbly, and this soaking time is needed to let the Flaxmeal give you the substitute for the egg. I mean, it's not going to work for every other recipe that unless you really try out, you can't say. But you need to whisk. This step is essential, to use a whisk and then give a brisk whisk to the Flaxmeal that's been soaking up. Okay, so you can see this is giving that eggy texture. Now after this, mixing the Flaxmeal with the wire whisk, then is when you will need to add it into the bowl of your electric beater. Okay, so now I'm going to use the spatula and add the Flaxmeal. Okay, I'm emptying all the contents because I just don't want to leave out, as we've all measured everything to the T. You want to empty the entire bowl contents, whatever you have measured. Now to that, you need to add brown sugar. I just powdered the brown sugar. In the recipe, I have also mentioned powder it coarsely, right? So you don't want to add, because sometimes the brown sugar has like really bigger granules and you don't want to use that. It is going to take up a lot of time. So adding the coarsely ground brown sugar. And now I'm going to let the beater go on medium high speed for about 3 to 5 minutes because it is live. Obviously, you cannot fast forward this or skip the step. So it's going to run, and maybe there is going to be noise because kitchen is going to run, right? So if I want to talk something, I'm going to stop and then talk, or allow the KitchenAid to go on for 3 to 5 minutes as you're going to watch it in live. Okay, Pooja Sarin, you can hear me because I'm going to let this run and then talk to you. Use, okay, Preeti Sheta is asking, can I use normal sugar? To get a nice and deep flavor, brown sugar is good. If you're following this recipe, use brown sugar if you have. You can use egg, half the egg for this recipe, which will be beat your whole egg, and you have to skip the soaking the flax meal in water step, and you have to use half the weight of your egg. Like say maybe if you break the egg and then you have say 40 grams, and then you have to beat the entire thing, the one egg, and then use 20 grams for this recipe because it is just half the recipe which used one egg that I initially tried. Okay, I'm looking at somewhere else, but that's where the camera is. Now it will be like I am looking at you and talking. As the KitchenAid is running, I'm just trying to be loud and talk something so you guys are not bored. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you. So I'm going to check how this looks. I want to increase the speed. Okay, so I can just cut down on the time that it is going to take to mix well. Pin the recipe. I just posted on Instagram. It is the first post on my Instagram profile. You could check. I've also storied that post. Can you skip almond flour and replace APF? It says you can do that, but if you have almond meal, it is going to give you the texture when you just bite through the brownie. I prefer for this recipe we would use almond meal itself. Can we add white powder sugar instead of brown? Mm, you can add white, but then it's not going to give the deep flavor. I prefer we stick to brown sugar for this recipe. Coarsely powdered brown sugar. Good to see me online. Thank you so much. I'm missing the platform because I was missing a space. Now I had the space. I just wanted to do this one first. Kickstart my work by doing this, which I've been missing for so many years. Just wanted to meet you guys and do what I love doing the most. Baking and showing you how I do, and then I want you guys to bake along with me. Couverture or compound? I am using couverture, chocolate. Depending on how much you want to, budget for your bake, it is okay to use compound. It's not really bad, but for a better flavor, chocolate is good. I'm looking at somewhere and talking, right? Because the comments are going on in another device. Will be live later. Yes, live will be available later. If you're missing, it's fine. It will be there for you to watch it again. Can we grind whole almonds? You can do that. You can grind, but you can blanch and then prepare your almond meal. You can just look for how to make your own almond meal and then follow the process, and that's definitely fine. If you're not able to find, if you do not have and just have whole almonds, then you can blanch the almonds and make your almond meal. Can we make this in tin rather than muffin tray? Yes, you can make it in tin. But if you're following this recipe, then the size of the pan should be 6 inches square should be up because it's a very small recipe. Okay. Which brand almond meal is good? I mean, anything that you get from a good baking supplies or any good supermarket is fine. Okay, so I'm just going to get back to the recipe. So good to see you, Ashley. Thank you so much. Which I have used Van Houten dark 46.5%. Can you use dark brown sugar? Yes, dark brown sugar, that's what I've used. You can use dark brown sugar. So I'm going to switch this off and then reduce the voice. I think I'm still audible, right? Okay, so now the flax meal and the sugar is done. into this. I am going to allow this to run on low speed as I pour the chocolate sauce. Now the chocolate sauce is cool down, and I'm going to pour as I allow this to go on beating on low speed. I'm just going to try and empty the entire thing, trying not to leave out the measured ingredients as much possible. So a silicone spatula is what you need. Okay, so I've emptied the chocolate sauce. It is just combined. That's quite fine. Now I'm going to add the dry, which is the flour and the almond meal and the cream. So one part of flour will go in, and then I will just beat for about few seconds just until the dry gets incorporated. I'm not going to overbeat after this. And then cream will go on as second part in between the flour, beat just until incorporated, and final the last portion of the flour. Okay. So just half of it. Beat just for a few seconds, just until you stop seeing the traces of the flour. Now I could use the spatula to just scrape down and mix up. And now cream. I'm going to use the spatula to empty the cream. I'm trying and taking out. Empty the bowl. And beat this few seconds until the cream gets incorporated, and do not overbeat. Now that little traces of cream is fine. And just use the spatula to mix up, and then goes the last part of the flour, and then we'll be done. So all the rest of the flour goes in. Beat few seconds until it just gets incorporated. On low speed, you don't want to increase the speed at this stage. So it's done. I'm not going to beat further beyond that. I'm just going to get the paddle out, scraping it. Keeping this aside. Now we get this bowl out, set the KitchenAid aside. We don't want that now. As you can see, it's just a little bit of the batter. I'm trying not to add in too much because we are just learning, and then trying to get into the practice of baking, and then try out recipes to check if you like or not. So the least quantity that you can do, the better. Okay, so just that much of the batter. Good. And now I'm going to get the pan, keep the spatula aside for some time, and I don't have a scooper, so what I'm going to do, if you have a scooper, well and good. What I'm going to do is just going to use 2 spoons. I'm trying not to spill. I'm going to fill just half the um, muffin pan because you want to allow room for it to rise, right? I also have some chocolates chopped that I'm going to add on the top. So you want room for the chopped chocolates as well. Now you could add toasted and chopped nuts of choice. Because it's just little bit of the butter, it is going to be right enough for 10, and I just need to keep scraping without wasting to fill the muffin pans. Now I need the spatula to scrape out, to empty the entire bowl. Filling in the last two. I mean, you could also stop with 8 or maybe 9. Just fill each of the muffin trays half full. That's what is important, because you don't have to look for filling up 10, because not sure of the size of the tins that you guys are going to use. If you're going to use the regular cupcake pans, then maybe this is enough for just about 4, and that's okay for you because you're just going to try. And if you're sure that you have more people who are looking forward to trying out the brownies you make, then maybe you could double the recipe. So doubling up or tripling or even 4 times is sure not a problem, because this recipe has been downsized from a bigger batch that I've been trying out for the last few days, because I just wanted the eggless one to be perfect, and I also wanted the first recipe that you guys bake along with me to just go on really well. I'm just going to wipe my hands a bit, and then I have um, chopped chocolate here. As you can see, I'm just going to add the bits of the chocolate on top of the batter. Here is when you can add the toasted and chopped nuts of choice, almonds, pistas, even cashews and hazelnuts, and then it can be almond brownie, Eggless almond brownie. And if you like quite a bit of nuts, then you could add the nuts, fold it into the batter as well. That is going to work quite good. Okay, so now um, this has to go into the oven to get baked for about 20 to 22 minutes, until you watch for the top of the brownie to be having the crinkled effect. The first stage, it look like it is baked, but then the top is going to be flat. Now, after which you are going to allow it to bake for about a couple more minutes, until you wait and see the top is crinkled. And that's when you're going to have the right texture. Now, we did a trials, and then we thought, well, this will go into the oven, and then okay, Ma'am, the recipe does not mention the measure of the cream. The recipe is already posted on the page. 20 grams. Okay. The team is here and this is prompting me 20 grams of cream. It's not on the recipe card, then it will be updated and shared again, right? Cream is missing ingredients. Cream 20 grams. 20 grams. Okay. You could just type it on there. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to update the recipe card and then share it again. Okay. I have used Amul cream. Before going into the questions, I just wanted to put this into the oven and then come check all your queries to answer. Now, this is going to go into the oven and I didn't want to keep you guys wasting the time until this is going to go into the oven. It's better we talk during that time, right? So this morning, I had baked the same exact batch, same exact recipe. And it is right out there, which I'm going to bring it here and then show you how the texture looks. So we just save out on the time until this is going to go into the oven. Now, this has to go into the oven, like I said, 20 to 22 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius. And after it is baked, you need to take it out and it is going to be really very soft. Toothpick inserted should come out with wet crumbs. Do not wait to bake longer because you saw some wet crumbs. Wet batter sticking to the toothpick is what you need to allow it to bake for long. But wet crumbs is what you need, and that is what is going to give you fudgy brownies, right? Okay. So once you take it out of the oven, I'm just going to set this aside. So which means it's going to go into the oven. Okay. And let me get the tray of brownies that was baked. Now, once you take it out of the oven, what's going to happen is it is going to be really very soft and you will not be able to take it out of the muffin, cups at all. So to allow the big, they're very, very soft. Now, if you are going to bake the brownies on a square pan, we are generally going to again have this difficulty of allowing the brownies to lift it out of the pan because they are going to be very, very fragile and soft. Now, when they are going to be bites, how are we just going to take it out from the pan? Is the trick is to put the muffin pans without even touching the sides or trying to even see if this is going to come out of the pan right after the oven. You cannot eat this warm. That is one thing you have to wait. Good things have to wait, right? So take it out of the oven, allow it to cool 15 minutes. It is okay if it is still warm, and 15 minutes out in the room temperature. Put this into the freezer, directly into the freezer. Freezer is where water will turn into ice. That is where you need to put this. For another 30 minutes, the brownies are going to be firm. After putting it into the freezer for 30 minutes, you can take it out. And from then on, it is going to release out of the muffin pan quite easily. Now, these are just out of the oven, gone into the freezer 30 minutes, and now outside for about the past 45 minutes to about an hour. And I'm going to use a knife to release it and see, check how it is going to release, because it is going to be quite a bit of a trick. That doesn't matter, just use the knife on the sides and because of the pan release, it's going to, you have to be a bit gentle. And if you are going to release it like say 10 minutes out of the freezer, then it is going to be firm and you're going to do it with a knife. But then after taking out of the freezer, if it is going to be soft for some more time, it is going to soften up because there is that you have just kept it out in the room temperature, say maybe for half an hour more. Like this one, it is a bit soft. Now gently release this from the muffin pans, and then you can see how the sides, because of the pan release, you can just check the color is quite good, the bottom is quite good and released well, and then the top that you can see is a good crinkly texture. There is a bit of chocolate as well on the top, but then the chocolate melts inside and then comes back and then it solidifies again, and so you are going to have chunks of chocolate on the top of the brownie, and it is already just sunk in the brownie, which is really good. Okay, so now I'm going to release another one to show, so you get a feel of how you can release it, just in case you feel like maybe the brownies are just sticking to the pan. And you don't have to panic. If you feel like it is sticking to the pan and it's too soft to handle, the only trick that can help you is to put it in the freezer 10-15 more minutes, take it out, and then use the knife around. It is going to come out like a cake. You can see it is just, now it's quite soft because it is there in the room temperature, right? You can see it's quite soft. Okay, so now that's how you could release each of them. Now I'm just going to open up and show how it looks. Okay, so it's quite soft, and then you can see it's also very nice and fudgy inside. I think I just posted a story yesterday as I was just doing it one last time to see how it's going to work. Okay, I maybe like a bite of it in my mouth to check how it is. I'd eaten it quite a few times already. I'm going to put this in the mouth. It's so good that you can feel that nutty texture of the flax meal. Its flavor is so good. You wouldn't really figure out it is eggless at all. So bakers who are okay to bake with eggs, but I insist you try this with eggless itself with flax meal, because nuts inside brownies are really good. But flax meal as an egg replacement comes in the form of nuts itself, and that nutty flavor together with chocolate is really yummy. We've tried this quite a few times. The team has enjoyed this brownie over this week. I want you guys to try it with me and keep posting on the group and Instagram. When you're posting on Instagram, on your post is fine. Tag Fondbites so I know that you have done it. Hashtag Fondbites Bake Along, and put it on stories. Tag Fondbites and hashtag Fondbites Bake Along. So that's for Insta. So I'll get to know who's done it and who's posted it. And the Facebook, Fondbites Bake Along family, you know how we've worked, right? So you post it back into the group. You could just say #1 eggless brownie bites and post it. And so we could just keep a track of who's finished. I have just framed the list of certain important points that we could just keep in mind as we are going to continue working like this week after week. That I will post it after this live, say maybe an hour after the live, after which you will know how you're going to work. Like you put it in the group and then what happens. So we are just going to bake along. It's just to share the joy and spread the joy of baking, right? So how else is this group going to grow and work together? That we will keep doing in the coming days. I'll post it to the group. Keep the group active. And I want you guys to also bring back the joy of that group by baking and posting it back in the group and Instagram. Both of you mean a lot to me. Now I'm going to look a bit away because I'm going to look into the device where the comments are going on. I look into that and then look into the camera and answer your doubts if you have any queries. I have used Amul cream, Nidhi. Yes. Can we make it like regular brownie? Is that the last set of comments? So helpful for beginners. Yes, that is why I wanted to keep it very simple, because I wanted all of you guys to kickstart baking. If you have been thinking that something has to be there to encourage you and to just maybe hold your hand and then guide you, I just wanted to start off something like that. I'm just going to keep it simple and sometimes, yes, a little advanced as well for everybody to learn together. You want to eat that too? Yes, sure. A bite for you. And I'm just reading the comments by Candy Bakes. This recipe is enough for a 6-inch brownie pan. It's going to be a very thin layer, a 6-inch pan, but then it is very difficult to handle because I've just pushing down this as much as possible. You can double the recipe and have a little thicker slice that you can just pick up and enjoy. Double the recipe and use it on a 6-inch pan. And Angel, good to see you. Thank you so much. You're going to have more of me from now on. Any other questions that you have? Try follow Fondbites on Hashu. Thank you so much for this live. Thank you for being there. Okay, and Deepti, regular brownies is quite thin. Yes, double the recipe and put it on a 6-inch square. Harith, how long should we keep it in the oven? For 20 to 22 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. How to get crinkle top brownie? For this recipe alone, bake it a little while longer. As you're baking, you will find it the top is dry and then it looks baked. But continue for 2 to 3 more minutes in the oven and it is going to get crinkle top. After which, take it out of oven. Can we use hand beater? Yes, and bakers. Yes, you can use hand beater. I'm just using it because it is easy and convenient to show what I'm doing and the process is clear. Hand beater is quite fine. A handheld bowl and a hand beater is good enough. Instead of flax meal, we'll try this recipe using flax meal itself because this is egg replacer, right? We are doing eggless brownies. So flax meal is an important component for this recipe to work. If you do not have flax meal, then you have to use the egg version, which is 20 grams of egg. How do you get 20 grams of egg? You break the egg, whole egg, whisk it, and from that measure 20 grams out and add this in place of flax meal and water combination, not just the flax meal. If you are going to take away flax meal from this recipe, then you should replace that with 20 grams of egg and remove the water and the flax meal away from this recipe. Can you bake it without oven? I'm not sure if the stove top thing will work. It's good to have the oven and work with the oven for this recipe. Can we use cupcake liners instead of directly pouring into the tray, ma'am? See, cupcake liners I did try, but then once you take it out, it is not giving that clean outer look for the brownie. Like this one here, you can see the sides are clean, right? Now that liner is going to stick out and then peel out this outer layer. So I prefer not to use cupcake liner. How do we store them to enjoy them for a few days? Okay, room temperature is quite good, but then few days, then obviously cling wrap, put it in a flat tray, cling wrap that entire small plate. A saucer like this is fine because maybe that is what you will left over with. Cling wrap this whole thing, put it in the fridge and take it out, and you can microwave and eat it immediately, or you could allow it to thaw for some time and then eat once it comes down to its fudgy texture back. Instead of almond flour, all-purpose flour. But then this texture you will miss out if you're going to miss out having almond flour in this recipe. Can we make flax meal? Yes, I made flax meal that I have used for this recipe. I did buy flax seed, roasted it for some time until you have that nice nutty aroma that it's been roasted, and then take it out, grind it in mixie, and then I've stored it in at a jar, and from that is where I have used. So I didn't buy flax meal, I bought flax seeds and made my own flax meal. Can we store in fridge? Cling wrap, yes, cling wrap to avoid the dryness. You don't want the moisture to go out of the brownies. Cling wrap and fridge. Geeta, lovely having you back. Missing you all, guys. So, I just wanted to bring us all together, and I'm looking at you and talking now. I was looking at the comments a while back. Lovely having you guys. I just really want to see you guys back with me. That's the main motto of coming back here. I've been missing you guys, and you know why. And now, from now on, I want the family to get back with me again. Looking back onto the comments, both rods on. Yes, like every time, like how you bake your cakes and all that, brownies, similar way, no change. If you've been baking, follow the same steps. Fan on and all that is just exactly the way you would bake the rest of your baking, like the cakes, your cookies and all that. Elizabeth, yes, thank you so much. Any other questions? No? Okay. So like I said, you will start making this recipe, and if you have doubts, you could ask in the group. Like this Fondbites Bake Along is going to be a group that will again start becoming an exclusive group for Bake Along only. We are not going to have other than bake along posts like it used to be. Like, the newcomers wouldn't know, but then the old people who have stayed with me know that. So we're just going to have bake along posts alone in the group and continue to encourage people to try out new recipes. As you do, you will learn with me. Okay. Mm. Hi Shailaja, good to see me again here. Thank you so much. If used egg, then what should be the temperature? Nothing changes if you use egg. It is 180 degrees Celsius only. Roll of cream. It is just going to add an additional moisture. It is going to give you the fudginess and the texture. It's not going to be really tough. It is going to make it light and fudgy. Microwave. uh, if you have a convection oven, there is a baking mode, and you can use that to bake using microwave, but not the microwave mode. You have to use the baking mode even if you use a microwave oven. Okay. Okay, so this live will be stored in the Bake Along group, and then on Instagram it is going to be shared on the IGTV. So I'm really, really glad to have completed my first live sorry, baking. And let me just have some water. Hope I can see this video. So I was talking about that. Let me just take a sip of water. The video will be saved in the group, not to worry. You can watch it anytime. Recipe card is also updated. How to join Bake Along group? Bake Along is a Facebook group. It's exactly the same content what we are going to post on Instagram as well. So, but to be on the Bake Along group, it's a Facebook group. You could just come over and click on the join Fondbites, Bake Along, and then you will be added into the group. Thank you for doubling the baking time. Baking time, if you're doubling up, and then if you're going to use the same pan and not increase the number of pans, then the baking time is the same. But then it could vary. It is not going to be exactly 22 minutes, because for me it worked 22 minutes. And if you are going to do, and depending on the oven, then you have to wait until, like I said, the top to crinkle. Do not, because you're going to cross the stage, the top is going to be clean and flat and dry. But then continue further beyond that, go 2 to 3 minutes, after which the top is going to crinkle up, like you can see on this. Top is going to crinkle up, and then that is when you're going to stop baking. Okay. So see you next week. Is also going to be Friday. Okay, Friday, same time. For now, if there is a change of day and time, I'm going to announce it onto the group and then come over. Like next week, what we're going to bake, maybe we'll just play maybe a guessing game and all that. Studio tour Monday or Tuesday for sure. We're just getting everything ready. The last bit of things are just fine. And yeah, there is always going to be, what I realized, there's always going to be things that are like, this is not done, or maybe I could have had that and all that. But then I'm just going to go ahead and show the studio on Monday or Tuesday for sure. Okay. Studio tour. Yes. Can't we see in this group only? You can see the recipe in the group itself, Fondbites Bake Along group itself, and on the Instagram IGTV as well. It is going to be there in both the places, and that's why my team has taken all the efforts to just bring down this whole thing together, to give this live itself on the Facebook Bake Along group and Instagram at the same time, talking to you live, keeping both the families, because you both are important, the Instagram and the Facebook. So I'm here parallelly. You could just go and check, juggle between Instagram and Facebook. I'm here in both the places. Okay. Thanks to my technically savvy team who are all just behind the cameras. They are just clapping, slow clapping for themselves. Okay. So thank you so much. Now let me just end this live. Happy having you here. I'm not going to take a lot of your time just giving the concluding speech, because I'm going to keep coming and talking to you guys week after week, and let's bake along. So please bake the brownie bites and share your results with me. If you have any trouble, then I'll be there. with my fullest of ability, I'll just try to solve your problems as you are baking week after week with me. Thank you so much. I'll end this live now. Look forward to meeting you all again with another recipe next Friday, same time, 4:30 p.m. IST. Thank you. Bye.